if you've been looking into either Google or Facebook ads and trying to figure out exactly which one is a fit for you, then I want you to take some time to check out this video. When it comes to comparing Facebook ads and Google ads, they are both very different platforms with strengths and disadvantages to both. So each has a weakness, each has some strengths, and it really comes into your situation as to whether one or both are a fit for you. So with Facebook, I don't talk about Facebook as often as I do Google ads because, quite frankly, most people in the industry are either running or preparing to run Google ads, whereas on Facebook, it's not quite as common. And I think for that reason, Facebook can have some advantages over Google in that maybe a lot of your competitors either aren't on there or they just haven't utilized the platform as much as they are on Google. With Facebook, it should not be expected to bring in the same sort of or enough level of business compared to Google. In most cases, sometimes you may be able to strike gold on Facebook and get a ton of business on the platform if you're in a really good market, but usually Google is going to outperform it at that level. But the cost is really where Facebook comes into play in the branding. So the cost to run Facebook ads is relatively small, especially compared to what you should expect to spend on Google. So to give you an idea, in the junk removal industry, you usually don't want to be any less than $50 a day on Google ads. But on Facebook, you could run ads for as low as $5 a day, $10, $15 to $20. I would suggest to be at least $10 a day, preferably around the $15 to $20 range for Facebook ads for a campaign. But in the same token, that is a much cheaper value in comparison to Google, right? You're basically going to pay half in ads than you will on the Google platform. So that's one strength, especially for those of you who may be on a limited budget and you're trying to find ways to bring in more business. And you can't just hop right into Google ads right now because of the amount that you will need to spend to not only run ads, but for what it takes for a company to actually run your ads as well. But keep in mind, if you're running Facebook ads, that customer is not typically going to have the same level of intent as someone who comes in from Google. Now, what does that mean? So when someone sees your ad on Facebook, they're in their newsfeed scrolling through. They are not necessarily looking for a resolution for junk, right? They didn't actively seek you. Whereas on Google, the customer is at a different stage of the buying cycle because they intently looked for your service or for a service for junk removal. So they're going to be a lot more likely, typically, to close and schedule right away because they have more of a need. Whereas on the other side for Facebook, it may be more of a want. Now, give Facebook where credit is due. They're going to put you in front of people who they feel do have a need for it or have recently looked around and searched junk removal, but it won't be someone who is looking for it at that place at that direct time, right? So Google's always going to have that advantage. But because you can operate at a much lower ad spend and typically you are going to get in opportunities at a much lower cost than Google, you can kind of balance the two out. The other thing that I like that Facebook has, and a lot of our Google Ads customers, we will at some point typically run Facebook ads with them as well because of the branding aspect. So never look at Facebook as a substitute to Google Ads because it will never truly be at that level in my opinion, but it is a great way to piece something together with your Google Ads because when you're running Facebook ads, you are almost enhancing your Google Ads performance. And I'll explain this in the best way that I can. When someone in your market, if you're doing your Facebook ads correctly, they're going to continuously see you over and over again, right? Which you should be doing everything in your power to do that. You should be on social media. You should be running advertising. That should be, word of mouth. It should be direct mailers. If you're doing direct mailers, it should be door hangers, you name it. Any way that you can get your logo, your image, your business in front of your customer, the better you will be because you're effectively continuously driving into their brains the fact that you are the go-to brand or company in your market. So Facebook ads, what you're doing is your ad, if done correctly, is getting in front of them, getting in front of them, getting in front of them. And even if they don't have a need right now for junk removal, which most of them will not, at some point when they do, and they do go on Google to search for a junk removal company and they see that name, you're going to be much more likely to attract that business because there's already that know, like, and trust factor, right? They're like, okay, I've seen these guys before. I've seen them around. Let me give them a call. Whereas your other competitors, if they hadn't been running Facebook ads and they hadn't seen them around, may not have that same advantage. So it is a nice platform to sort of enhance on Google over time because you're getting that visibility in such a constant fashion that you know most of these people have seen you before, especially if you've been running Google ads and Facebook ads for a very long time. All right. But I would never suggest it as just something to cut off your Google ads and replace. Typically, that will not yield the results that you're looking to get. I think they work great in unison, or if you're on Facebook ads because you don't have the budget for Google, it can at least get you started and be a good placeholder. Now, some markets, I've seen some, and I mentioned this earlier in the video, I have seen some that, you could be looking at a couple bucks per opportunity coming in, which if you're at that level, then you might have something there on Facebook that actually can really drive the business forward and give you a lot of leverage, because it's very rare that you are going to get an opportunity on Google at that rate. You might have a low CPC, but not every click is going to be an opportunity. So if you're under $10 per opportunity per, pretty much customer coming in, whether that's through Messenger, through a lead form, then you actually have a pretty good design in your market for Facebook ads, because even though there's no way that all of them are going to close, that's also the same for Google, right? Not every call is going to close. Your closing rate is going to be lower on Facebook than it will be on Google in most cases. But if you're getting more opportunities at the same amount of dollars, then you're still in pretty good shape. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys when you're breaking down the math of how that should play out on both platforms. If you're above 15 to 20, if you're around that range on Facebook, chances are you might be in a Google Ads market that might be a little bit more, or perhaps double, depending. So you may still have that opportunity there to where it makes sense to kind of gear up a little bit, run $15, $20 a day on Facebook and bring in that business on that platform. And again, especially if you're running Google Ads, you're kind of enhancing that as well at the same token and enhancing your organic presence because they are constantly seeing your ads and your branding. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. If you have any questions, leave it in a comment. But I wanted to really go over this because most of the time when I am talking about Facebook ads, people are asking about it in comparison to Google. So I kind of wanted to go over both. Google's advantage is never going to be cost. Most of you, I would say 90% of you pretty much going to pay a pretty high cost on Google most of the time. That's not where its advantage is going to be. Its advantage is going to be in the consistency of opportunities coming in, as well as the ROI over time, because if people are calling with the intent to do business and your closing rate is high enough, you're getting a really good return on your ad spend on Google, even though it is higher. With Facebook, your return is in a couple different metrics. Not just your short-term opportunities that are coming in, but also the one metric that unfortunately you can't track, which is that branding and the aspect of them doing business with you over time because of what they saw on Facebook. So don't forget that that is there, but unfortunately you can't really track that metric quite the same as you can the short-term stuff. So if you haven't tried Facebook ads before, like I said, it is pretty limited on what it takes for ad spend. The main components of Facebook, and I won't extend this video out too much longer for your sake, the main components are going to be, copy that really draws them in, keep it simplified, one call to action typically, and then an image or a video that attracts. So you just want to have something to get them to stop scrolling and gather their attention, both in your copy and in your image or video. Lately, images have been working better than video for us, so I would probably go that route. It's also easier for you guys. And the more professional the image, the better, because you want to give off that branding aspect that you are professional and you are the go-to company. So if you're throwing together an image that isn't as professional, keep in mind that you're also putting that into your branding, and that is what people are seeing. So you want to be a little specific when it comes to that. Make sure that it's portraying what you want it to portray when you're running your ads. So hope this helps you guys. Hope this makes sense. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I would be happy to help. But hopefully that gives you a better understanding of the difference between Facebook and Google Ads. Thanks for watching.